Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely unpack the ultimate blueprint for mastering the American Concrete Institute design course. Now, if you've ever looked up at a massive reinforced concrete structure and wondered exactly how all that math on paper actually translates into a safe, standing reality, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking a really structured look at a comprehensive curriculum that takes you from those foundational theories of concrete design straight through to actual, real-world practical applications.
But hey, before we get into the nuts and bolts, or I guess the rebar and cement, let me ask you something. How well do you truly understand practical ACI applications? I mean, it's one thing to memorize the formulas just to pass an exam, right? But it's an entirely different beast to actually apply these concrete standards in complex, real-world construction scenarios where safety and structural integrity are literally on the line. That gap between academic knowledge and actual field readiness, that is exactly the problem we're solving today. So here's our syllabus for today. First, mastering the ACI Code. Second, meet your expert instructor. Third, foundations and safety factors. Fourth, elements of structural design. And finally, number 5, advancing your engineering career. All right, let's jump right into section 1, mastering the ACI Code, the global standard. So the American Concrete Institute, or ACI Code, is the globally recognized standard used to design and construct reinforced concrete projects. And we're not just talking about some local guidelines here. Countless projects around the entire world are designed and built according to these specific ACI standards. Why? Well, to ensure public safety and structural resilience, of course. Now, what makes the curriculum we're looking at today so incredibly valuable is that it actually helps you learn the fundamentals of this vital code completely from scratch. You don't need any extensive previous knowledge of ACI to get started, which honestly makes it a super accessible entry point into what is otherwise a highly technical field.
As you can see, this curriculum is perfectly balanced for all sorts of engineering professionals. Whether you're a civil engineer, a structural engineer, a construction engineer, or even a student just beginning to dip your toes into concrete design, you're going to find exactly what you need to truly understand and apply the code. For those of you already out there in reinforced concrete construction who want to move way beyond just rote memorization and genuinely master structural execution, you're going to find immediate practical value right here. Moving on to section 2. Meet your expert instructor, building trust. Now, what's really interesting about this is the mind behind the curriculum, Dr. Mohammed A. El-Reedy. He brings an absolutely incredible 33 years of hands-on experience in concrete and steel projects to the table. So yeah, this course isn't just thrown together by someone who read the manual last week. We're talking over 3 decades of navigating the real complexities of structural engineering, making mistakes, finding solutions, and really mastering the craft out there in the field. And beyond those 3 decades in the dirt, Dr. El-Reedy has also published over 15 books and is heavily featured in international conferences and journal articles. The guy is an absolute authority in this space. He seamlessly blends that deep theoretical knowledge with hard-earned practical expertise. He doesn't just understand how the formulas work on paper, he knows exactly how structures actually behave under the unpredictable, messy strains of real-world environments. Okay, let's jump into section 3, foundations and safety factors. Erecting the frame. The coursework here follows a really strict logical progression. It starts right off with the basic concepts of design codes. Because, let's face it, you gotta know the rules before you can play the game. Next, it dives deep into those life-saving safety factors and probability of failure metrics, teaching you exactly how these are factored in according to ACI provisions. And finally, it introduces the latest ACI requirements right alongside ASCE load combinations. This basically teaches you how to rigorously account for the extreme wind, seismic activity, and dead loads that structures are inevitably going to face. It ensures your buildings don't just stand up on a nice sunny day, but can actually survive the absolute harshest conditions. I love how this curriculum addresses the true duality of an engineer's life, the design office versus the actual construction site. It doesn't just leave you stranded behind a desk with your calculator, you know? It deliberately bridges that gap. It covers the really vital topics related to concrete construction practices out in the dirt, things like quality control, the acceptance of materials, and the rigorous evaluation of concrete itself. These practical hands-on skills are honestly just as essential for the engineers working out on the noisy construction sites as they are for the folks drawing up the pristine plans back in the design office. Let's move to section 4 and see how this builds. Elements of structural design, finishing the exterior. A massive focus of this course is on the major design principles for specific physical elements. You're going to learn the real intricacies of designing reinforced concrete beams under varying loads, making sure they can actually carry the necessary weight without failing. You'll explore how to select, handle, and design all different types of slabs. And of course, you'll master the engineering required to build seriously robust columns. Think of these as the fundamental puzzle pieces of pretty much any major concrete structure on Earth, and you're going to learn exactly how to design them safely and efficiently.
And really, this all leads up to one ultimate goal: equipping you to read, interpret, and confidently apply ACI code provisions in real engineering projects. It's all about taking that heavy, complex codebook and transforming it into a dynamic tool, something you can use with absolute confidence right there on the job site. It totally empowers you to transition from a theoretical understanding straight into practical mastery. And that brings us to Section 5, Advancing Your Engineering Career. Next steps. So, if you're ready to elevate your understanding of concrete design, Dr. Elridi's comprehensive program is available right there at the Udemy link provided. Consider this your gateway to mastering the whole shebang, everything from basic safety factors up to complex column design. Whether you're gunning for promotion, gearing up to tackle more complex projects, or maybe you just want to sharpen those foundational skills, this structured learning path definitely provides the tools you need. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. How are you going to apply these foundational ACI principles to your very next real-world project? Look, the codes and standards are out there just waiting to be mastered. The only real question is how you're going to use them to build a safer, stronger world. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll see you next time.